You are in a prison that tastes sweet to the tongue and bitter to the stomach. If you're here, you're meant to hear this message. This is going to be an extensive read about the origin of this reality, about the God Hu and the goddess Maya. We're going to go to the Bible with Ezekiel eating the sweet scroll as it becomes bitter in the stomach. We will include some Scientology information about the process of our souls and how some of us have to become clear of implants or influences that keep us in this prison. We're going to really look at the letters M and W. Man and woman, secret codes all over the earth that speaks of two parallel worlds, and how one world is a world under a platform, suffering, and the world above is the world of the gods, freedom. Although this is an individual reading for ARRIKA, if you are just awakening to where we are and why we're here, you're going to learn some new things today. Some of you were sent here because of actions, maybe because we murdered. Some of us are sent here like Ezekiel to speak and to judge and to help people who are ready to be helped. Those of us who come here to help others ascend out of a prison are often associated with candles or candlesticks, like the 7 flames. They are known as the 7 pillars or the 7 flames of God. They are also connected to the 7 spirits of God. In Harry Potter, notice the letter M above this platform, and inside or under the platform are suffering muggles. Muggles begin with M, M-U, as they were murderers. This is a statue of Athena where she is standing on a platform of very short beings. This is an ancient depiction of heaven and hell. Notice the letter M of the hammers of District 12. And 12 being 12 hours, 12 months, 12 zodiac signs. The number 12 is a prison. The number 13 is out of a prison. When you are born in District 12, in the time of 12 hours and 12 months, you suffer. And this suffering will either push you to cleanse your soul, cleanse your heart, or not. This story bleeds into ancient reflections of Solomon and Odin. So Solomon in the sun is above and in the water is below. His beard makes the letter M, and the water reflection of the M makes the letter W. Man and woman. You can actually see a female in his beard, the hidden, invisible female. Now, we're going to understand why you have the word who on one page and the word Maya on the other page. This was the original word of human, humaya. It's not man, it's actually woman. And this scroll is like Dorothy walking the yellow brick road, unraveling the spiral. So in the Bible, and he said to me, Son of man, fill your belly and your bowels from the scroll that I give to you. And I ate it, and it was in my mouth like honey. But then when it went into the tummy, it became bitter. So this is saying, enter the captivity of the children of Israel. So when someone eats a scroll, the scroll or walks the scroll like Dorothy, we have entered a new realm, the land of Oz, or the land of Iris, the goddess of the rainbow, Osiris. And so Ezekiel went to this realm, the realm of captivity, a prison, to help not those who don't deserve to be helped, but those who are on the precipice of ascension. and needs to hear faithful words, encouraging words, so that their purification process can persist. And this isn't just a Christian or shamanic concept. This is kind of a Scientology concept. And Scientologists believe in a wall. And the wall is the letter T here. So when you are in the lower level, like the Muggles, you learn how to rid your body of engrams that affects and impression your subconscious and your memories and your beliefs from childhood. They believe that aliens have dominated our souls. Body phaetons are souls that stick to your life force that commands the body, meaning you. When you start taking charge of your soul or your body, you can rid yourself of body phaetons that are infesting you. There is a part of a level that's called the bridge, and this is in your second piece. The table is a bridge. It is a rank within Scientology. If you have attained a state of clear, meaning you are cleared of jinn, alien influence, you are above the wall. And clear, or the OT level, is the highest state that there is. You will get, instead of a Christmas tree on your head, a bird on your head. This is freedom. So when you reach this state, you reach a state of godliness. You will have control over matter, energy, space, and time. We were tricked into following religions which prevented us from power, from having our own power. And when you get into Scientology, they teach about astral travel and becoming an oracle and becoming telepathic. But I'm going to tell you some secrets that kind of counteract Scientology a little bit. And there is even an argument that we have energetic implants in our energy field. They are used as a tool by an extraterrestrial opposing consciousness for dumbing down of humanity. And this subject does get me a bit riled up, but at the same time, I can see the reason for these implants and this mind control. Because some of us, like in The Handmaid's Tale, slept with a married man, going against a divine order of God. She was sneaky. She went against this man's wife, who begged her and pleaded her, "Please do not take my husband from me. I love him." She refused. When you meet someone like this and you go against a divine order of God out of selfishness, it's basically like you have murdered her other half. You have murdered her life. You become a murderer, a muggle, and a munchkin. And your reality will shift like a thief in the night to a prison planet, where the entire world shifts and changes where it is not in your favor. And suddenly, you don't have a voice. And suddenly, instead of choosing which man you want to sleep with, whether married or not, you get raped by men you don't want to be with. And it's ruthless, heartless, cruel, really. But sometimes it takes that to awaken a person to how detrimental it is to murder someone's marriage or murder someone's heart or murder someone in some way. And this letter M isn't just murder, it's magic, it's the Freemason, it's the Master Mason. We live in a mirror world with the letter M, and you can see M and W here. This is in your first piece. So whether it's Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, the Marauder's map, Master Magician, you are this character. People are in a dream state, in a simulation. The aliens are our prison guards. Yes, they put implants in us. Yes, they put these religions here, but they are for a purpose so that the soul can be cleansed of selfishness, really. And maybe it's gotten out of hand. I don't know. The God who is associated with the written word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. So who is the visible male that is frequency. So the written word is sound and frequency, but it's what you can see, like the Bible. And the female is Maya. And she is the invisible goddess of illusion and dreams. who always shows the true reality, but she's invisible. She's the opposite of the visible male. This is why Solomon has the beard with you can see him, but you can't see the woman very well. She's invisible. She created and maintains the physical universe. So when your arm, with the energy of what looks like Christ or Odin, is sharing your arm with that Christ energy, this reflects that you opened a scroll to become a Hu Maya, human. Ego, mine and yours, is considered illusory. So it's not real. There is no difference between you and me. That's the illusion. And this invisible mother awakens within us to show us the truth, takes us out of the Christmas tree. This is the 12th month, District 12, to take us to the number 13. But let's talk about this Christmas energy. The North Pole, who imparts gifts on a sleigh by a flying reindeer. How did this belief transpire? Whence came the notion of flying reindeer and dwarves who seem to have no other purpose than to help make the gifts and toys? Why the North Pole? And why are gods such as Krishna, Mithra, Jesus said to have been born on the same day as the annual gift giving? The name Santa Claus is derived from Nicholas of Myra, who was a very popular bishop living in what is now Turkey during the time of the Roman emperor. Nicholas was persecuted and even tortured for his Christian beliefs and eventually thrown into jail. When Constantine converted to the Christian faith, he released the imprisoned Christians. After his death, he was honored by the Greeks and Romans at an annual feast on December 6th. On the eve of the feast day, December 5th, they would give gifts secretly to each other because Nicholas secretly bestowed the dowry of 3 daughters of a poor citizen. He did so in order that they would obtain a decent marriage partner and not be given over to a house of prostitution by the father. When Christian Catholicism spread north, the Dutch started to celebrate the event. The Dutch pronunciation of St. Nicholas is Sinterklaas. When the Dutch immigrated to New Amsterdam, which is now New York City, the tradition was introduced to America and the English version of Sinterklaas became Santa Claus. But St. Nicholas never lived in the North Pole, so how did that belief even originate, and how did the December 25th date even come about, and what is the connection with the Christmas tree? To embrace the sympathies of everyone, the Romans moved the date of December 6th to December 25th, which was the birthday and thus the feast of Mithra. The religion of Mithra and the newer Jesus religion had much in common. Both gods were born of a virgin, both died and rose again after 3 days, both had a sacred foundation stone. Mithra and Petra had Petra and Jesus had Peter. The religions of Mithra and Jesus had become competitive, and so they changed it. So December 25th was really the day of the Mithra feast. And so had the traditions of Apollo and Helios. So these are all similar gods. All these beliefs had much in common. They were just different versions of the same celestial events. All these gods, including Jesus, were pictured on mosaics, being surrounded by a ring with 12 constellation zodiacs on them. Mithra had 12 satellites. Jesus had 12 disciples. Mithra is depicted as the sun disk, drawn by a white horse, as Jesus, and who, according to the book of Revelation, is supposed to return on a white horse. Thus was Saturn being surrounded by the 12 satellites. The original festival of Saturnalia, celebrating the birth of Saturn, was also December 25th. Kronos, Saturn, and Saturn being connected to Saturday, the holy day where you have no work and no work should be done because this is the holy day of Saturn. In the book of Exodus, a person was stoned to death because he was picking up sticks on the Sabbath day, which ended up being Saturday. So the festivals or birthdays of St. Nicholas, Saturn, Kronos, Mithra, Jesus, Apollo, Helios, Sol, and Invictus have been amalgamated, put into one holiday we call Christmas. Jesus is known not to have been born on December 25th, and this birth date for him was not celebrated until around 354 AD. The tradition of a former polar god or polar sun has been chronicled by many. So what possible relationship does Saturn actually have with the North Pole? And this is something me and my friend John are just now talking about, is this North Pole energy and how it's a covert place. That the three wise men followed the North Star, and so there's something significant about the North Pole. So Saturn is the old man from the North Pole bringing sprigs of evergreen to children. In myth, Saturn resides on top of his holy mountain, which was also portrayed as a holy tree. This is the tree of life, or the evergreen sprig of Saturn. And this is a plasma discharge. It is a brilliant white and thus called the Milky Way. So think of President Snow, think of Snow White, think of the white holy dove, or a bearded man. And the bearded man is Saturn or Santa Claus. I think whenever you see a bearded man like Odin, Jesus, Zeus, these are all reflections of Saturn, as the plasma looks like a white bearded man, Santa Claus. So the lights on the Christmas tree are depicted as angels of departed souls coming and going on a ladder to heaven. Saturn, as well as Santa, is depicted with a long flowing white beard, which is also reminiscent of the white plasma discharge. And what about Santa's red apparel? Red being the embodiment of flesh, blood. But Saturn also casts a primordial red glow and is responsible for the purple dawn of creation. Red is also the color of royalty. Mars, the son of God, would periodically come down the northern axis to save the world. He is the one who drove his father's chariot, which was depicted as a sleigh in northern regions. I think that I personally would take this a little step further and say, when you are 12 years old, like Jesus was 12 when he left the Bible, or Harry was 12 when he left the Muggles, you have become enlightened. Your Christmas tree has become full of light, like a rainbow light body. And the star on your head is the invisible mother that descends upon you, and you have a higher self that you can now hear and obey, a divine order of God. You step into your power and your gifts like presents under the Christmas tree, and you have awoken to your male and your female. You have united Adam with Eve, Jesus with, or Mary, Mithra with Mary, and you have balanced yourself and purified yourself, basically. And so you move from the Christmas tree to the number 13, which is the master number. You become a master. You have ascended past the lower realm of the Muggles, the Munchkins, the murderers, and the moon energy, and have gone into the sun. You might like to know that Odin had dwarves as helpers. So Odin is also Santa Claus. He is pictured flying in his chariot pulled by goats. His dwarves were master craftsmen and forged gifts for the gods or the planets. The dwarves are personifications of Saturn's moons, who were also depicted as his children. So to put it in plain terms, the Son of God, the sun, is heaven, and the moon is like hell. The darkness of the moon, we must transcend it and grow from a dark underworld into the light, purifying ourselves, ridding ourselves of implants and falseness and selfishness and ego, and begin to become an empty holy grail, so that the energy of spirit can enter us and we can be set free. So in the book of Ezekiel, Saturn appears to Ezekiel from the north, and that is why Saturn's gods, such as Mithra, Helios, and Apollo, are pictured in ancient mosaics with constellations. And you eating a scroll, that is Ezekiel. So Saturn is one of the stars on top of the Christmas tree. So now you see that you are Ezekiel. Now you see the Christmas tree and the star and the reindeer. You see the man with the M and the woman with the W. You see the falcon, the bird. This is Jesus. This is Mithra. This is Helios. This is Saint Nicholas. This is Odin, the bearded man of Saturn, right? You've got the sun and the moon there. You have these bird people. They are called falcon people. You have your grandmother telling you that she's helping you rid your body of these operating thetans or these implants that manifest as jinn in our genes, right? And so your scroll has been opened up for you to have an awakening as to where you are and what do you need to do to get out of here, right? But according to this reading, you are here to step into your godhood, to be released from this prison, and you will have all the knowledge to know whether someone is ready to ascend or not. So like Ezekiel, you're not here to save the selfish blind. You are here to save those who are ready to step into the clear, above the wall, above the bridge, in the table. And I want you to look closely because inside the table is Anubis, the judge, the one who sees all, will weigh a person's heart against that of a feather to see if they are heavy with pain, heavy with belief, heavy with self-importance, heavy with low self-worth. And if they are not heavy, then they are in the clear. And they are as white as snow, like President Snow. So yes, this place is ruthless and cruel. Sometimes I think it's overboard. I think it's too much. But we have to trust that there is a divine order, and this divine order will lead us to truth, life, power, connection, joy, and release, really. So there's this man, he looks like Prometheus at 5 o'clock, and he has someone's consciousness or soul in a prison, like a box. And Saturn box is called the black box of Saturn. It's a prison. But when you open the box or any box, it actually makes a cross. So this is your promise that when we ascend up the cross, we get off the cross and stop taking on the sins of the world. We die of who we were. We resurrect with the body of Christ. Then we can walk on water and raise the dead. We step into our God form. We become the body of Christ. And we behold the Holy Grail, eternal life, which you have in your right hand. And then you're kind of slapping away someone who has jinn and alien energy. These are operating thetans. They're not allowed there because they're going to be selfish. They care about power. They care about being in control, and they do not obey a divine order of God. They will sleep with married men or women, and they will harm children and animals, and they are like a virus. They can't come to a place of white as snow. Now notice your bird above your head is white as snow. This is the story of Snow White. We are asleep until we open our 7 dwarves, the 7 chakras, the 7 spirits of God, the 7 candlesticks. And then we wear our crown when we balance male and female, and we go to a mansion of many rooms. This is God's house where we become powerful and we step into our glory and our release from a prison. I believe that this reading is your promise that you are going to be in the clear and you will be released. Persist in all efforts and keep yourself illuminated. The Gospel of Philip says, if you are illuminated, the dark ones cannot see you nor detain you. So keep your light, keep your joy, and trust in the divine order of God. Thank you, ARRIKA, for what you have to teach us about the truth of where we are and how to get out. If you would like a reading, my name is Mary Moses. Go to forestfairy.com.